Welcome to another episode of the Smart Real Estate Coach podcast, your source for actionable real-life examples and advice to help you move to the next level of investing. Each week, we help you make a quantum leap in your business, your finances, and/or your life. We want to help you take back control, help you thrive during chaos, and lead you through the current crisis to a better tomorrow. For more resources, check out smartrealestatecoach.com and be sure to give us a rating and review on your favorite platform.
Good morning and welcome, wicked smart listeners. Thanks for joining this week. This is Chris Bree with another amazing guest. Now, I'm always going to remind you, whether you're driving or sitting focused and listening, or I hope you're actually watching this on YouTube. If you're not, jump over there because you get some more entertainment. I would encourage you to literally listen as we get towards the 2025 launch here. I encourage you to literally listen for possible action items, ahas that come out of this, nuggets, and then utilize that to go out and create some really cool deals. If you're in our ecosphere, go out and create 3 payday deals, worth, 40, 50 grand, all the way up to 350 grand per deal, all 3 paydays. And if that's foreign to you, definitely look into what we're doing here. Reminder, all of these are on YouTube, as I just referenced, and you can subscribe to the channel because we do Q&A Thursdays, we do motivational Mondays, and we do deal structure Sundays. I think we've been doing that since like 2017 or 18. So there's hundreds of them in there for you. Now, buckle in here while we bring you the next Wicked Smart Masters class. Today's pretty cool. I'm going to spend some time with Andrei Mincov. I had the pleasure of hanging out with Andrei earlier in 2024 on his show. We'll talk about that. He's the founder and CEO of Trademark Factory. Now, I know when I was in the world of just doing deals, I didn't even think about this. He's the only firm in the world that offers trademark registration services with guaranteed results. Now, his career in intellectual property, because when I met him, I'm like, how did you get into this? It began when he fought a Russian radio station. Get that actually stole his father's music. You can't make this stuff up. Since then, he's written multiple books on intellectual property, won an international bestseller, and he's helped thousands of people like you and I protect their IP. Now, he does believe in us as entrepreneurs, and he does believe that we need protection. And he's super passionate, as you're going to hear and see, about sharing his experience with growth-minded peeps like us, okay? He lives in Dubai with his wife and 3 kids, and he creates a unique drum desk. I'm going to have him talk about that with you. All right, Andrei, with that as a backdrop, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here with you today.
You know what? This is unique because it's like 7:15 in the morning for me, and because of your time zone. What time is it for you?
It's 4:15 p.m. I'm in Dubai.
Yeah. I love it. I need more people in your time zone to go along with my early morning schedule that I love. So thank you for coming out.
I don't know how you function this early. Like I honestly don't understand, but
I function best. We're opposites. Yeah, let's dive in here, buddy. I wanted you to come on the show after you and I had that chat. I think it was several months ago now, but I remember getting off there going, okay, I want to expose the Wicked Smart community to this for a bunch of reasons to set you up here.
Yeah.
One is there are a bunch of entrepreneurs that aren't necessarily in our niche in real estate, right? They're just entrepreneurs out there. A lot of people have W-2s. And then others are solopreneurs in our niche. So I just want to address first 10,000 foot view basics of why, how, when trademarking. And then I think that'll expose some things that I can go ahead and dive into if you wouldn't mind being general first.
Sure. Well, if you want a really quick answer, a trademark is only needed there where you're trying to build a brand. Because really the purpose of a trademark is to make sure that the brand you're building, you end up owning, right? So the question of, hey, do I need a trademark or not, boils down to, hey, am I trying to build a brand that is important enough for me to be recognized as? Because with brands, the funny thing is without a trademark, it's not that you don't own your brand. That's true. But really, it's that you don't even have a brand, because having a brand means that you can legally go to a competitor who's trying to use a similar brand for same or similar products and services, and you can tell them, hey, this is mine. Stop doing this right now. If you cannot do this legally, it's not a brand. It's, it's a wish. It's something that you want to be known as, but not more than that.
Well, let me, you brought something up interesting. Someone saying, stop doing this. So one of our associates, this is very applicable to our community. So I want the real estate entrepreneur to hear this. One of our associates, he's in New Hampshire. He's actually a certified coach now. And he had a name on his website for years and years. He never trademarked it. He did get I don't know if it was a cease and desist or what. It was one of those letters that said, hey, you can't use that name. Now, the importance of this as a solopreneur, I want your opinion if you think I'm on target here, is think about it. If he didn't, now he got out, he fixed what he had to fix. But if someone else had trademarked that and it was a true cease and desist, then he would have had to rebrand his whole site, rebrand like everything he did to buy property. And it would have been a major headache. What are your thoughts on that? Am I tracking?
Yeah. So the average cost of rebranding in US is around 35 grand. The average cost of trademark litigation is around 150. And the thing is, like the big problem with lawyers that deal with trademark laws is that there's a lawyerly answer and there is a practical answer. The lawyerly answer is, hey, if you were there first, if you became known under that brand, even if you didn't get a trademark, you have the legal right to keep using that name and keep, the goodwill associated with that brand. That's the lawyerly answer. The practical answer is, yeah, that may be true, but you only find out if this right will be recognized after you spend 150 grand in court with zero certainty whether the judge is going to recognize that. Compare that to going the simple route, which was designed by the legislator. You pay a little bit of money, you get a piece of paper that says you are the owner of this brand, and that's all that's needed. Because with the first option, the first route, it's called common law trademark. The thing is, even if you win once, doesn't mean that you're going to win the next time. So every time you have to do this. Whereas with a registered trademark, all you need to do is just show that one piece of paper every time. That's it. The biggest value of registered trademark when it comes to litigation is that it helps you avoid it. Because in most cases, the other side, when they see that you have a registered trademark, they'll be smart enough to know that there is no way you're going to lose. And they don't want to end up in a situation when they have to pay their lawyers 150 grand, right? So that's why you having that record on the government website is usually all it takes for your demand letter to be taken seriously. When you don't have that, the reaction always is, hey, these guys didn't bother to spend a couple of grand to get their trademark registered. What is the likelihood that they're going to go hire attorneys to go after us for 20, 30 times more? Zilch.
We had this happen to us once, actually. You brought back the memory. So we have several trademarks, but Smart Real Estate Coach is one. And then we got an email from someone in our space with Smart Real Estate or something was on the email. So a letter went out and it was taken down like immediately. They cooperated immediately. So I hear you loud and clear. Let's, how about, okay. So the solopreneur is listening. They want to set their business up for this year or whatever, next quarter. Is there a time in your opinion when they should, they have a property name, they have a website, they bought a few properties. Is there a time in your opinion in their cycle of business when they should do it right away, 6 months, a year? Any thoughts on this for them? Because I want them to have actionable things they can do.
I'll give you my favorite tongue-in-cheek answer. You can do it anytime as long as you do it at least one day before somebody else does.
Yeah. So right away is probably a good answer like today.
I mean, look, there's kind of a two question test that I use to help entrepreneurs figure this out. You ask yourself two questions. The first question you ask yourself is, if this business that I'm building, if everything goes as well as I hope it will, right? Because trademarks are really about investment in your brand's future, not in your brand's today.
Yeah.
So if everything goes as amazingly as I hope it will, 2-3 years from now, do I see myself selling the same or similar products and services under the same brand? So the 2 or 3 year horizon, I've chosen because it takes about 1.5 years to get a trademark registered in the US, about 3 or 4 years in Canada. So there's no purpose in investing in getting your brand trademarked if by the time you get the results, you don't need the result. Yeah. So if your answer is no, probably won't use this brand, even if everything goes as well, because not every business needs a brand, right? And we actually had this quick conversation pre-show about, does every real estate investor need a brand? No, right? If it's just your name and people love you because you go to a bunch of networking meetings, that doesn't matter, right? There is no brand to protect. But if the answer is yes, Grant Cardone's a great example, right? With his 10X and things, right? Yeah. To him, it's important. So then you go to the second question. The second question is, assuming, yes, you do see yourself with that same brand 2-3 years from now, assuming, again, everything goes as well as you hope it will or better. The second question you ask yourself is, will this brand do me any favors 2-3 years from now? What I mean by that is, will it lower my cost of client acquisition? Will it help me increase my sales conversion? Or will it help me attract better talent who want to work for me because of the brand? Will it help me get cheaper money, whether it's from investors, the banks, or whatever, right? And if your answer is it's not going to do any of that, then my advice to you right now is to go back to the drawing board and come up with a better brand. Because even a perfect scenario where everything is as amazing, as rosy as you imagine it to be, you have a brand 2-3 years from now and it still does nothing for you, why'd you pick that brand? Because the purpose of a brand is to help you with at least one of those things, if not all of them. Because that's how the big companies that we all look up to, that's how they operate, right? Their client acquisition cost is lower, their sales conversion is higher, their money acquisition cost is lower, their talent acquisition cost is lower. So, and if your answer is, well, it's probably going to do at least some of those things, people are going to know me, people are going to like and trust me because of the brand, the platforms are going to give me cheaper CPC when I'm doing paid ads, things like that. People will want to work for me because of the brand. If that's the answer, then yeah, go and trademark your brand now before it's delayed.
Okay, who wants to be the next apprentice? Pretty interesting, guys. We started this apprentice program back as a July 4th, 2024 promo. That's where it started. And it was so incredibly effective. We were just going to run it for the summer. It was so effective immediately. We kept it. It's in place now. And what is it? It allows you to get into the community, the Wicked Smart community, for less dollars than the QLS home study course sells for right now on our site. In fact, when you go to smartrealestatecoach.com/apprentice-pod, apprentice-pod, when you go there, you're going to see that as an apprentice, you're going to get over $13,000 worth of coaching, the possibility for you to touch base with us if you want to 4 or 5 times a week. And it doesn't exist anywhere out there, frankly. That's why we did it. We did it for 2 reasons. One, no one is giving you the support out there. We keep hearing feedback, which is how this was born, that other educators are not giving support. They're just selling stuff. So it doesn't exist anywhere, and nowhere in the real estate education or coaching space. And we want to help you do one thing, deals. So we've wrapped the support mechanism around this. We've allowed you to get into a Slack community with the other associates who previously were protected in Slack. And now you get to jump in there and experience that for 12 weeks. You also get to come to the In the Trenches bootcamp, which is private. It's a chance to hang out with the family team and one of the coaches for 2.25 days in our conference room, roll up our sleeves, get calls done, get deals done. If you come with leads, you leave with deals. Absolutely incredible. I could go on and on. Go to the website right now, check out more information about the apprentice, and I'm going to give you the In the Trenches bootcamp site because you don't have to become an apprentice. It just happens to be free with apprentice and associate. So 2 links I'm going to give you, super important. smartrealestatecoach.com/ITTB-pod. That's going to give you some information about the bootcamp. If you want to buy a ticket to the bootcamp, it's more expensive, but you can. Just to come check us out. About 1 or 2 people every time we run it do just that. Or become an apprentice, and it's for free. smartrealestatecoach.com/apprentice-pod.
So in that time frame, what came to mind is I remember it taking us a while, actually. I was surprised how long it took, and you're saying that's normal. During that time frame, let's say someone files, they're listening now, they work with you, they file something to protect their brand. It's taking a year and a half. In that time frame, what happens if someone uses their name that they see? Like, do they have any right for a pending trademark? Am I asking that the right way?
So yeah, unlike patents, there's no term pending trademark, but once you filed, the trademarks office will shut down everyone else who wants to file a similar trademark. In fact, there's this is my story of a day. I'm absolutely mesmerized by it. 11 Labs, the audio AI startup, right?
Yeah.
Amazing product, amazing services, love them to bits. So these guys filed their trademark pretty early in the day. Problem is, someone else filed the same trademark a few days before. I don't know whether it's a coincidence. I don't have any proof. I'm not going to make, any accusations.
Yeah.
But 11 Labs, their trademark application is now denied, and it's probably going to cost them a lot more time, a lot more money to deal with that. Whether they're going to buy it off or they're going to fight it off, I don't know what they're freaking going to do. Whether they're going to rebrand, I don't know. But either way, it's going to cost them significantly more now than it would have had they filed their trademark a month earlier.
So, yeah, it's a little headache.
Right. So now the way I see it, there's kind of three big zones when it comes to brand protection. First is the danger zone. The danger zone is any time before you've actually filed your trademark application, right? You doing your research, doing trademark searches, getting registrability opinions, you thinking about trademarking, you discussing this with your wife and your partners. Until your trademark is filed, you're in a danger zone, because that doesn't exist for the purposes of the trademark registration process. Now, the second zone is what I call protection zone, is between the filing and the registration. So while this is pending, right, while the trademarks office is examining your trademark, while you're waiting for them to examine, while there's some back and forth, if there's an office action, if there's an opposition, so there's a lot of moving parts there. But until your trademark is registered, you are in what I call the protection zone. The protection is that if someone files for the same or very similar trademark for the same or similar products or services after you did, the next day or after, then the trademarks office by default will reject that future application. So that gives you some protection. Also, if you find a copycat, taking advantage of your brand, even before your trademark is registered, and you send them the letter, the demand letter, the law firm does, and it says, hey, we got a pending application, and it's very likely to be approved, and you're going to be caught with your pants down. Here's our notice. Stop doing what you're doing. Again, usually that gives you enough of a protection. And then the third zone is after your trademark gets registered. That's the ownership zone. That's when you actually own it. That's when you have a piece of paper that confirms that. So.
Love it. Nice, 10,000 review on that as well. So let's get down to there. I'm thinking logically. I'm listening now as a Wicked Smart listener. How much? I know the time frame, right? How much for basic? I'm Rick in New Hampshire who had Colony Investments or whatever it was, and I want to file that. How much should he think about? I know you're going to give people a discount, but how much, generally speaking, will this cost him over that year?
So I think there's kind of different ways to approach that. I'm just going to give you our most popular package that makes things really, really, really freaking simple.
Okay.
$2,500 with with a 100% money back guarantee, plus the government fees that you're going to pay to the government, depending on how many classes of goods and services you need to cover. And that includes everything, all the back and forth with the trademarks office. If there is a problem, that includes the coverage if there's a final rejection. But you can get started for a lot less than that.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to give the link now, smartrealestatecoach.com/trademark factory. I know that's for a discount. Do they also, so will they jump on a phone with you, Andrei, or how's that work?
They get on a phone call with one of our strategy advisors.
Right.
And their role is not just to pester you for your credit card number. In fact, their role is to help you figure out what to start with, because what we find most of the time is that entrepreneurs usually have several brand elements that they're considering: a name, a logo, a tagline, maybe different countries where they operate. And there's always a question, hey, we want to do more than we have the budget for. So their role is to help you figure out whether it's a good time for you to do it at all, and whether the answer is yes, how to prioritize what's more important, what's less important, and help you pick the pick the package. Right? We don't do. Funny enough, we just had a big team call yesterday discussing a few things on how the strategy advisors operate. And I'm like, because a lot of them come from traditional sales backgrounds. They're like, hey, we need to come up with some way to create urgency. I'm like, guys, there's natural urgency, because like, if they're not afraid that someone is going to file similar trademark before they do you think giving them a discount of a few $100 is going to make a difference? Because that's where the real fear should be, that all their time and effort and money that goes into building that brand is going to be all for nothing, and then I have to go back and come up with something else. There's a perfect natural the word escapes me.
Well, there's built-in urgency essentially, because it's there. Yeah, I got you 100%. Okay, so somewhere in that range anyway, and then a year-ish out. Andrei, what didn't I ask you as we wrap up? Because I want to make sure, as usual, to the Wicked Smart community and the Wicked Smart listeners, that we expose them to this stuff, right? Especially for the new year. So anything I didn't ask that you might want to share with them before we wrap?
Sure. I would say that in my experience of doing this for many, many years, I've been in the intellectual property space for almost 30 years, is that most people grossly overestimate their degree of understanding how things work in the IP space. And we get a lot of people, like a lot of clients who a lot of entrepreneurs who become clients. We do the search with a registrability opinion for them. We tell them, hey, it's not going to fly. And they start to argue with us. Like, hey, this is different. Like, I have the in front of the name. It should go through. Or like, I have this misspelling introduced. Or like, heck, that's not how trademarks work, right? And we see a lot of that. And trademarks are very different from domain names. And to me, probably the biggest misconception is that a lot of people are married to an idea of a brand that they have. Right? They think it's a unique name. They think it's a perfect name for their business. But oftentimes, actually about half of the requests that we get, we tell them it's not going to go through. And us being able to flag that early on is the reason behind our 99.3% rate of success unheard of in this industry. So my advice is always owning a brand is by far more valuable than having the brand that you cannot own. So if you cannot claim legal ownership to whatever idea you came up with, you came up with a name, your sister drew a logo, but if you cannot own that, there's no value to that. If there is anything, there's risk, because the more successful you'll become under that brand, the higher the chances that someone else who owns that trademark that prevents you from getting yours registered is going to go after you for a lot of money. So don't do that. Because with trademarks, if it actually comes to litigation, if you are found to be infringing someone else's trademark, it's not that you're going to pay a little bit of a fine. They can go after every single dollar you made under what will be established as their brand. So if you've been operating for 5 years quietly and nothing happened, well, good. But on year 6, they can go for all 5 years of everything you made under their brand. And the judge is going to, and their position to the judge is going to be, hey, the only reason they made this money is because these guys were infringing on our brand. We won this. We won this money. And the judge is going to grant that. So, that's the biggest thing about trademarks that most people don't understand. And my advice is, if you think that the brand or a brand is going to be a factor in your success in the future, start early, figure out what's trademarkable, get it trademarked. It's not that much money in the big scheme of things. We waste a lot more money during the year on stuff that nobody really cares about. Right. But this way, you're going to end up with an asset that potentially is going to be worth millions. And in the worst case scenario, you're going to spend $3,000 on something you don't need. Well, it's not that big of a deal,
I agree. I think it's part of doing business. That's why I asked earlier how, where in their journey. So if you're in the community now, Wicked Smart listeners, and you want some advice on this as far as timing, please hit me up on one of our calls. If you're interested in just in general, please go to smartrealestatecoach.com/trademark factory. Have a chat with Andrei's team. Guys, it's not by mistake that Andrei's got 30 years in the business like me. I purposely put people that know what the heck they're doing on the show. So Andrei, really, really appreciate the knowledge. And I know we just touched upon it, but thank you so much for diving in with us. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, Wicked Smart listeners, that does wrap up our time together today with Andrei. Now, if you enjoyed the show on any level, guys, please take a few seconds, rate and review it, share it with others, and just take a few seconds and do that. At least one person, because you'll touch someone that can perhaps tap into Andrei's genius and save them tons of money and help them become the authority. Now, when you do, I'd ask you to do this. Email me. Email me personally, chris@smartrealestatecoach.com. Let me know your biggest takeaway. And also, as a thank you, I would love to go ahead and get on a personal phone call with you. Yes, it's my schedule. It's me that's going to jump on the call with you. Let's chat strategy for this year. Let's make this year a breakthrough. Let's make this year the year you get to December, unlike maybe past years, and you go, you know what? I crushed it this year, and here's why. I want to be part of that reason, okay? I don't know if I can be the only reason. I don't know you yet until we get on the phone, but I want to be part of it. Go to smartrealestatecoach.com/Chris pre-call, and we'll get on that together. Now, lastly, because of sort of the year in here, I want to mention this. I do it every few episodes. I am fully aware that many of you take 30 or so minutes out of your limited 10,080 minutes this week, every week, to listen to the show and listen to these amazing episodes. I don't take it lightly. The team doesn't take it lightly. We literally meet weekly to see how we can up-level these interviews, up-level our guests, and we're not going to stop doing that. So we'd love your feedback. Go off and make it an outstanding week, an outstanding quarter, and most importantly, because of the timing of this release, an outstanding year. Now, having to do with the year, let me just mention some upcoming things, okay? We have an upcoming In the Trenches private boot camp right here in our office coming up. By the time you hear this, I don't know if it'll be filled, but then we have another one in March. Go to smartrealestatecoach.com/ITTB-pod. smartrealestatecoach.com/ITTB-pod. And you can learn more about that. If you guys have not gotten a hold of my books yet, I don't know why. I want to offer them for free for you because I think you all should have them in your hands. Go to wickedsmartbooks.com/podcast. That's my gift to you. Make it an outstanding 2025. I look forward to interacting with you personally.
Hey guys, are you simply sick of juggling a dozen different software tools for your real estate business? I know I was, and I know I'm not a tech person, so it was frustrating. A subscription for this, you get a subscription for that, and they don't even work together out of the box. That's very frustrating, especially in the real estate world where your best time spent is going to be out in the field or on the phone with sellers. And now you're stuck hiring a tech guru just to make all that sync up. So let's ditch the chaos and let REI Black Book handle everything. Automate your lead follow-up, track every deal, analyze things quickly for you, make offers all in one platform. In fact, with the Wicked Smart platform, we now have access, if you're in the Wicked Smart community, to all the other associates' properties. Can you imagine that? So you're brand new in the business perhaps, and your seller looks on your website and sees 20, 30, 40 properties, instant credibility. So you're going to get everything on REI Black Book from our custom workflows for lead generation all the way to closing. It has it covered. Try it today for just $1, guys. Visit smartrealestatecoach.com/REIBB-DD. smartrealestatecoach.com/REI, B as in boy, B as in boy, hyphen, D as in dog, D as in dog.
Thanks for listening to the Smart Real Estate Coach podcast. If you're ready to invest in yourself and take your investing to the next level, check out our 90-day Jumpstart program by going to smartrealestatecoach.com/jump. That's smartrealestatecoach.com/jump, because now is the time to act boldly in this unprecedented market shift.